Good evening, this is Jerome Stevenson.
And Forest Green.
Tonight's episode of our broadcast is brought to you by 7-Up. Forrest, did you know that there have been 11 different formulas, all in search of a drink, that we think would be refreshing enough to prove irresistible
Really?
to the people of the U.S.?
Do tell.
Well, created by the Howdy Corporation in St. Louis, Missouri, 7-Up was supposed to be an optimistic venture from the start, which I think it has very well proven to be that.
Yes, I'm very glad. It brings a new spin on an old taste, especially a different kind of pop from Coca-Cola. Hear no cola, see no cola, drink un-cola. Because you're going to be drinking 7-Up, the drink of champions.
Now, Forrest, I don't know if I'd go as far as say drink of champions, but I can't deny the lemon lime flavor of the soda has been very, very tasty.
And that beautiful caramel color just...
Oh yes, spot on. Now, on a more news-related matter, back a while back on August 8th, the LZ Graf Zeppelin was an airship created in Germany and started its expedition to fly all the way around the world.
Wow, very huge endeavor they must have gone on.
Oh yes, just the idea itself seems crazy to some people. But today, August 20th, 1929, it has been made official that the LZ-127 Graf Zeppelin was the first airship to fly all the way around the world. And I'm sure its designer, Ludwig Durr, is very pleased and happy to hear this success. I mean, I know if I was the creator of a ship that was able to fly all the way around the world in the time it did, which really, it wasn't that long of a time. It was only a few days, maybe a week or two. But I know I'd be speechless at the matter.
I think anybody was speechless. But also, we gotta give props to the driver, who I thought really brought this thing around. Literally around the world. Also, who is the driver?
I forgot to mention him. Hugo Eckner was the pilot of the ship. And yes, I'm sure he was very happy about it.
Oh, I bet he was. On a more interesting note.
Oh, Forrest, what could be more interesting than literally flying a huge airship around the world?
Anything.
How, Forrest, you and your jokes.
Yeah, but that anything includes the very first Academy Awards.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
How could you forget about that? It may have been 3 months ago, but you know.
It's still great, I will admit that. Do go on.
I will. We may be recording a little bit late, but you know, anytime's a good time. Well, on May 10th, the first Academy Awards was held at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Very nice, very classy hotel.
Oh yes, very nice. I don't think they could have picked a better place to host such an event.
Yes. Also, it's such a great show. I wish I would have gone. It was only $5 a ticket, which actually is pretty expensive. Now, acts in there included Jeanette Gaynor, Frank Borzage, Louis Milestone, and the ever-great Charlie Chaplin. And they received awards from acting, directing, production, just flat out filmmaking.
Not to mention the great hosting by Douglas Fairbanks.
Oh yes, Douglas Fairbanks. What a great man. And also, even though the winners were announced 3 months before, 270 people still attended this event, even though some being actors who were nominated for it but did not win.
Such a shame. Now, enough of some news for a while. Let's get into some sports highlights. Babe Ruth. Great baseball player, plays for the Yankees. He's always been great at hitting home runs, especially at hitting home runs. And recently, on the 11th of August, 1929, Babe Ruth hit his 500th home run.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was amazing, especially since it was in Cleveland, Ohio, very close to where we are.
Yes.
Now, I'm sure this was a very great thing for Babe, but the Indians coach and the pitcher pitching at the game, Willis Hudlin, they probably weren't as happy as the fans and Babe was about this.
I know. I wish we could have gone to that game, though. You know, we live in Akron, Ohio, and here in our Akron studios.
You know, we always miss everything. We miss the best things.
Yes.
Now, on another news-related note, lately we've had a bunch of labor unrest, if you will. A bunch of strikes have been going on lately, and we're going to talk about some of them and our opinions on them.
Yes, the first strike. The cops of Boston, they went on strike against because they want higher pay because they believe that they've done a good enough job of crime. But when they went on strike, crime went up because, you know, they're cops and no one was protecting the people to bring in justice.
That was very true. And I mean, 75% of these officers went on strike, which I think is just unreasonable. I mean, you sign up for defending the city and where you live, and I mean, when you go on strike, kind of defeats the purpose.
Yes.
But knowing the people, of course they were against the strike. Another strike that happened recently, the Seattle General Strike. This was consisting of shipyard workers that just they weren't happy with their pay, which, I mean, shipyard work would be a very hard job, but it has to be done by someone. Luckily, there was no violence during the strike, which was very good. But everyone was blaming the immigrants for the strike just because all the people who... Okay, we're gonna end talking about that for a couple seconds and talk about immigrants lately. People have been hating on immigrants and just not wanting them in our United Nation, and I just think that's unreasonable.
Yeah, I believe too many people blame immigrants for all our social problems, which is called nativists, which is very bad, which the KKK actually practices this. So,
speaking of the KKK, I've been noticing they've been on the rise lately.
Yes, they've been against Jews, Catholics, especially African Americans, which have been many hate crimes against them.
Oh yes, they've even been getting violent lately, which is dangerous for the economy.
Yes, killing people, putting bombs in their homes. I think it's just outrageous, and I think they need to be stopped now.
It is outrageous, but we can't do anything about it because of the freedom to assemble. We can arrest those or prosecute those who do the crimes of injuring others or any other crime, but sadly, we can't disband them.
I believe it's like freedom of speech. You can't just yell fire and get away with it. That's what the KKK is like.
Exactly. Now, off of that subject and back to our strikes. There's a couple more strikes going on.
The steel strike, which happened in Pennsylvania. Over 36,000 strikers went on, and they demanded recognition of their union and protested low wages and for longer hours. And this started to shut down the steel industry itself, which is very bad for our economy.
Oh yes. But what the strikers weren't realizing at the time is that there were a lot of other people in the nation that were wanting jobs. And from them just going on strike, a lot of people were unhappy, and there was a little bit of time where no one was working. But after a while, they just replaced the strikers, and they came back to find out that their jobs were gone, and I bet they did not feel too smart about that idea at first.
They had the audacity to even sue the company to get their jobs back, which was a failed attempt, and most of them never got their jobs back.
And the one last one we want to talk about today is the United Mine Workers Strike.
Which is one of the biggest strikes. Over 400,000 coal miners walked off the job and protested wartime contracts that kept pay the same even though prices went up.
The leader of this strike was John Lewis, the president of the UMW.
We're told by Wilson that the strike was over, but it quietly didn't go to work. And the many quietly didn't go to work, and eventually they all won, and they got what they were asking for.
Higher pay and less hours, which I guess is good,
And also,
in a way.
Once again, the public response was go back to work.
Which is how they are these days.
Yep, many strikes. I hope there's not too many more. Also, America's gotten tougher on immigrants. Immigration has gotten a lot tougher.
Oh yes, they have been limiting to all the immigrants for like 3% for each nationality, which is outrageous because that limits so many people coming into America.
Yes, those people could be helping our economy, making new jobs. But I can see their standpoint at some points because we've had many immigrants come in.
That is very true. Another thing we've been getting a lot of letters in about lately is you guys asking about if we know anything about prohibition ending, which we're going to answer that right now. We don't know anything of prohibition ending. We are against prohibition. I mean, we get how there has been issues and how it can harm people, but having a little drink every now and then, we don't think that's too harmful. We think there should be put limits, but not to illegalize it completely.
I know, right? I mean, Henry Ford, he said, who is completely for prohibition, said that workers would come to work drunk and intoxicated, which he thought slowed down their process. A multi-millionaire said that, which angers me.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for listening to our radio station, and we'll see you back next Saturday. I'm Jerome Stevenson.
And I'm Forrest Green, and we're signing out live from Akron, Ohio.
You have a great night.